built for life.
The most important part of a window is the framing. Fiberglass frames won't lose their dimensional integrity. They're the strongest, longest-lasting window you can buy.
And right now, you can save 20% and get financing on every window and door product we offer.
Stop by one of our showrooms, visit us at metropolitanwindows.com, or give us a call at 412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is brought to you by Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon, 4500 PA 51. And now the news.
Hey, good afternoon. It's 4:05. It is mostly cloudy and 39 outside of our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law Studios, helping those who are injured for over 40 years. Your local station, 590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS. I'm TJ DeStefano. Sports and weather will follow the news. A vehicle sustained serious damage after it crashed into the side of a home in Washington County Tuesday morning. The Charleroi Fire Department said just before 9 a.m., first responders were called to Route 88 in Dunleavy Borough following a reported iPhone crash notification. A truck had crashed into the side of a home, resulting in structural damage and damage to the vehicle itself. The driver was able to make it out on their own and was later taken to the hospital for treatment. The fire department said they extinguished a small engine compartment fire, conducted hazard mitigation, and stabilized the home. Drought conditions are improving across western Pennsylvania. The latest update from the U.S. Drought Monitor shows no drought conditions currently present in Allegheny, Armstrong, Beaver, Butler, Fayette, Washington, and Westmoreland counties. Meanwhile, the rest of the state continues to have abnormally dry, moderate, or severe drought conditions. The number of first-time filings for unemployment are increasing across Pennsylvania. That's according to the U.S. Department of Labor, which says for the week ending March 7th, there were over 11,000 first-time claims in the state, which is more than 1,000 than the week prior. Nationally, the number of initial filings dropped compared to the week before. A former NFL linebacker charged with murdering his girlfriend in Tennessee allegedly used ChatGPT looking for advice before calling 911. Here's more from Mark Mayfield.
Investigators say Darren Lee sent messages telling the chatbot the woman stabbed herself before asking what he should do. Messages revealed in court allege that he sent them a day before police were called to the couple's home when the body of Gabriella Perpetuo was found. Lee was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with or fabricating evidence and is being held without bond. Lee played with the New York Jets, Kansas City Chiefs, and Buffalo Bills. I'm Mark Mayfield.
WMBS time is 4:08. Sports and weather coming up next.
Is it time for your first home or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Belle Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
And in sports, today the WPIAL released the new football alignment for the next 2-year cycle, which will start in the fall. Locally, Laurel Highlands, Albert Gallatin, and Uniontown will all be in Section A or Section 3 of Class 4A. Spring training baseball tonight. The Pirates, they're 13-6 in exhibition play. They will take on the Atlanta Braves in Bradenton. We'll have the game on WMBS. The pregame is at 6 with the first pitch at 6:05. And then we'll go to the Penguins, their second of their 5-game road trip tonight in Vegas against the Golden Knights. Pens are 32, 17, and 15. Pre-game tonight will be at 9 with face-off at 10 here on WMBS. Partly cloudy skies for tonight. 30 will be the low. Cloudy tomorrow, will be windy. The high will be 59. We will have a wind advisory starting at 8 tomorrow night and running through midnight on Saturday. Partly cloudy for Saturday, 52, cloudy and 68 on Sunday. And we'll have rain on Monday, an early high of 60, and temperatures will be falling into the 40s throughout the day on Monday. Right now, it is mostly cloudy and 42 outside of our Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law studios at 4:09 on this Thursday afternoon. I'm TJ DeStefano, and coming up next, we have Hour 1 of The Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway on WMBS.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51.
Unlock the energy at Live Casino Pittsburgh during the Spring ZDX giveaway. Play daily to earn entries toward our giveaway drawings on March 27th and 28th, where you could win a share of over $55,000 in prizes, or race away in a new 2026 Acura ZDX all-wheel drive EV. Get charged up for the Acura ZDX giveaway on March 27th and 28th, only at Live Casino Pittsburgh. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking to update your home? Cobalt Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is more than your plumbing supply store. We specialize in kitchen and bathroom remodels that transform your space from outdated to outstanding. Our designers work with you to create the look you've always wanted with custom cabinetry, countertops, and flooring options to fit your style and budget. Call Cobalt today at 724-437-8824 or visit cobaltsupply.com to plan your dream kitchen or bath. Cobalt Building Supply, everything you need to make your house feel like home.
Wind, hail, sudden leaks. When your roof takes a beating, we're here for you at AR Roofing and Remodeling. We're a locally and veteran-owned contractor available 24/7 for repairs. As an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we get the job done right. Call 724-550-3064 or visit arremodels.com for your free estimate.
AR Roofing, never settle.
Franco's Golf Center is open during the winter months, Tuesday through Sunday, starting at 11 a.m., closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the voice of reason, Dave Dunaway. It's Thursday, March 12th, 2026, and you're listening to The Sports Voice. The NFL season has officially begun. Did that happen Monday? Did that happen Wednesday? Hard to tell. It depends on what you consider tampering, what you consider legitimate, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are starting to look a little different. But in the same way, also starting to look a little bit the same. And people are hoping that they evolve from the disappointment that we've seen in the last decade. But in the end, a lot of the players responsible for that mediocrity are still there as members of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And one of them, Cam Hayward, just got a contract extension. a lot to talk about around the NFL. I think the teams in the AFC North have gotten better, and we're just in the first day and a half of the new calendar year for the National Football League. But just like any other week in any other year, most of what we're going to talk about is going to be dominated by football because you never get a week off. The NFL never officially takes time off. There's always something that just keeps bringing everybody back. Major League Baseball is getting closer and closer to the start of the regular season. Maybe a little bit of a surprise for Pirate fans that Connor Griffin is still with the team. He's batting under 200, so I do feel it's only a matter of time that we will see him on the Pirate roster, and then he'll get his demotion to Altoona or Indianapolis or whatever form of minor league baseball they want him to start the season because he's still only 19 years old. But the World Baseball Classic, or as I call it, the fake Olympics, that's happening right now as well, and that's taken some players from all of these major league teams also. And then there are your Pittsburgh Penguins. You sit back and you watch what happened the last few games, of course, without Evgeny Malkin. A lot of resolve from this team, but I still have the same fears that I had months ago. Is this a team in a situation like the playoffs that's going to be able to knock teams off? I mean, they've looked horrible. They've looked tremendous. Normally they have a lead and can't close it. Now they've managed to come back in games, but still struggle in the shootout. I mean, I know in the playoffs you don't have to worry about something like that, but I still think the goaltending is a little bit shaky. I think Murashov should be there. And people have told me, well, you said they should have traded Anthony Mantha. Anthony Mantha is one of the best players they have right now. I know. I didn't say it was because he wasn't good. He's also on an expiring contract. Is Pittsburgh going to sign him in the offseason, or is he going to be given away for free at the very end? Those are the concerns that I have. Do you think this team's winning the Stanley Cup? Because I don't. So in the end, why are we hanging on to people and not starting to think about the future? Why are we continuing to just kick that can down the road just a little bit more? We are 1 week away from the NCAA tournament, as everyone out there calls it, March Madness. And I know what you're going to tell me. Well, they play games on Tuesday and they play games on Wednesday. Okay, if you think that's part of the tournament, that to me is just an insult, telling teams if you win your conference, you win that tournament, you get into the NCAA tournament, and then you force them to play in a play-in game so that you can put somebody who probably doesn't deserve to be there in, so that you don't have to hear a lot of whining and crying from bigger-time schools. But in the end, you do get a legit national champion. It's one of the hardest things to win. I think it ranks right up there with the Stanley Cup playoffs, one of the hardest things to win in North American sports. With that being said, a lot of hype around Miami of Ohio. They were 31-0 to end the regular season, and earlier today got knocked off by UMass in the first round of their conference tournament. So now the question marks are out there. Do they make the NCAA tournament because of the weak schedule that they played to rack up those 31 wins? I think they're still in, but there's a lot of speculation out there as to whether or not they will or will not be when it's all said and done. Luckily, Penn State basketball doesn't have to worry about anything like that. They got beat up by a very bad Northwestern team the other night, so no concerns with them making the tournament. Their season is now over. Is Pitt still around, Nick? I know they did get a win in the first round of the ACC tournament.
No, they lost yesterday in the second round, but the fact they made it at all, what a job by Jeff Cable down the stretch.
Yes, I mean, just a great job, all around. I didn't know you could be that old and still play college basketball in one sense, but Pitt showed us that you could bring in 35-year-olds and put them out there. In
this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely.
NIL.
They used the NIL to its finest. Instead of using it to buy the best high school seniors that were coming out, use it to buy the best 30 and 31-year-old grad students that are still hanging around college. So as you look and see what teams are still around and what teams are gone, normally not a whole lot of a surprise, especially if you like to watch Pitt basketball. But Penn State's no better, so it's not like I can throw stones. because the glass house that is over the Bryce Jordan Center has got to be smashed in by now.
But I think Penn State is still a football school. Pitt is a volleyball and soccer school.
Oh, that is
there's
true.
that, yeah.
Well, that's because a few years ago they divvied up that NIL money to all of their sports.
Right.
And unfortunately, for as great as they are at volleyball and soccer, nobody comes to watch that.
No.
So the income and the revenue just hasn't quite matched where the money's being spent. Although Penn State spends a lot on wrestling, but they do get people to go watch that. From what I hear, that's sold out pretty much every match up there.
Wow.
So,
God love them.
yeah, I mean, if you put
Not my thing, but
if you put household names out there, I guess that gets people to come watch. So good for them for doing that. So I guess there are some of those, what do we call those, ancillary sports?
Yeah,
that can
good
draw.
word.
Yeah,
Wow.
that can draw some attention. I guess you just have to figure out which ones they are, and then determine whether or not you can get the people to come and support them. I mean, a lot of people are up there watching Penn State hockey. Of course, they have the #1 pick in next year's draft
Yeah, that
playing for
helps.
them.
That
That
helps.
kind of helps. So, I mean, if you're going to spend the money, might as well spend as much as you can
Right.
and get the person there that people are going to want to come and see.
right.
If you're watching us on Facebook, you got to see a little bit of a treat. I'm assuming earlier as we were all trying to figure out the new advanced television camera that we have here. Nick, I feel like I'm on ESPN. This
Yeah.
is about as high definition and high tech and big deal that we've ever had here at WMBS. Like, this is the full TV experience. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, this is what these guys got to feel like on ESPN. Like, I feel like I'm in a legit TV studio with a legit TV camera, and the only thing I need is somebody to come put some makeup on me because I'm a little nervous I'm not showing up well on this new high-tech camera.
Yeah, somebody come powder Dave's nose. Welcome to the 21st century. Welcome to television, Dave. Yes, we have
I
a
know.
new camera. You look great, buddy. I'm
Yeah, we
watching
got to
the
get that
monitor.
theme song go. We need, something. I got my theme, but I feel like we need something all the time. Yeah, right before I'm
Yeah.
ready to talk,
That
we need
SportsCenter
something
theme.
kind of leading up to it.
Yeah, I think they have that copyrighted, so we can't
Yes.
use that, but we'll find something.
The Game of Thrones music.
That's
That's what I want. Like, whenever something big
Oh,
is going to happen in Game of Thrones.
I'm sure HBO would have an issue with that too, but we'll figure out
And how
something.
disappointing people would be if we have that music building it up and then I start ranting about how bad I think the Steelers did in free agency or whatever that is.
Yeah, there you go. How about that? Yeah.
So how about we never get a week off from football. I said that at the beginning. The NFL year has begun, which means free agency has started. A lot of trades. I can remember not all that long ago, you never really saw trades in the NFL.
No. Herschel
Especially at the
Walker.
trade deadline.
That was it.
Well, that was huge, though. When Herschel Walker was traded, that was such a big deal because of what all Minnesota gave up to get him. And Dallas just started using those picks for literally their whole dynasty of the 1990s. Because I think Emmitt Smith was part of that. Like, you start looking at everything they inherited out of that move. It set them up for the future. And that's kind of maybe why we always think, like, if you're going to do something like that, you should be on the Dallas end of that trade and get stockpiled, which they just did with Micah Parsons last year, where they got quite a few draft choices coming over from the Green Bay Packers. You don't want to be the team taking the veteran and giving up all of those picks. And the Baltimore Ravens may have dodged a huge bullet just yesterday when Max Crosby, the big trade acquisition that we heard about last week, failed his physical, because I'm wondering whether or not Crosby could have ever lived up to the first-round picks that were supposedly traded to the Raiders for him. I think that when you look at a team like Baltimore and where they are, by the way, I just had makeup brought in for me. And this is like legit makeup. There's lipstick here. I don't think that's what I need to have on when I'm on the air. But
I love it here. I love the people here.
This is
That's
fantastic. Yeah. So maybe on break we'll try to get all ready to go with that. But you never know what's going to happen here. You never know.
Ask
I
and you
never
shall
know when I
receive.
come in each week exactly what's going to happen here. Yes. Well, I did ask for it, so I guess I got what I deserved there. But anyways, Baltimore, they signed Trey Hendrickson. And, you look at that and you don't really have to give away anything except money for that. That might be the way to go instead of making these big trades. I don't think Crosby would be more of an impact player than what Hendrickson's going to be at this point.
Right.
But, of course, we want to start with the Steelers because everybody cares about them. And maybe the most intriguing piece of news all week has been the contract extension given to Cam Hayward and the lackluster response from the Steeler faithful in regards to that. Cam Hayward, we knew was going to whine and cry for more money. That was told a month ago that he was unhappy with the contract he signed last year. He was even more unhappy with the contract he signed the year before, which is why he had to sign a new contract last year. And we were just waiting for the outburst this year where he was going to whine and threaten not to show up at camp and not to do OTAs and not to do preseason games until he got what he wanted. So the Steelers just went out and gave him a one-year extension. So as we talk about kicking the can down the road, that's exactly what they did right here. Now the question then comes in, well, is it deserved? Well, when you look at what he did, honestly, the first time he whined and cried about money, he was horrendous. But last year, well, 2 years ago, I guess, he had a pretty good year. And last year, I think he had an even better year than that. So I don't think the issue is the money and the extension. I think he's showed in the last 2 years, he's still got a little bit left in the tank. But in the end, the Steeler fan base doesn't want this. And you start asking yourself why. I mean, did they finally realize what a tool he is? I mean, I could have told you that years ago. Oh, watch, he'll be mad at me now. Don't worry, Cam. I'll get Josh Allen after you if you have a problem with that. What is it? Why are people so upset? Is it because he's old? Is it because they've seen his true colors? Look, regardless of what kind of person he is, he does do great things for the community. You can't argue with that. With the charity, the Hayward House, all of that, he has been a cornerstone of the community. Now, as a person outside of that, he's a tool. I've said that before. He is. I mean, you saw it with the podcast. First of all, he doesn't need the podcast, but yet he has to have it to keep himself in the spotlight. You see him throwing ex-players under the bus or allowing them to be thrown under the bus. Like, he can sit there all he wants and say, well, I didn't say anything. You're in charge of it. That'd be like me letting something unravel here on my show and then saying, I didn't say it. I didn't know what I can stop it whenever I want. He could have stopped it whenever he wanted and yet chose not to do that. And of course, the last 2 years whining about money, I know he probably deserved more, but Steeler fans don't like to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the whining. They don't want to hear the crying. You saw how fast Antonio Brown was gone. You saw how fast Deontay Johnson was gone. Juju, all of the guys that started crying, they just felt they deserved more money. It's a blue-collar fan base. They don't want to hear that. And when you put yourself above them like you're mightier than thou, people don't want to listen to it. So I think that over the last couple of years, a lot of the fan base has fallen out of favor with Cam Hayward, not because of his playing ability. I think it's more to the personal aspect of him showing his true colors and them not liking it because it couldn't be disguised anymore at that point. I don't know, Nick. Like, I thought everybody would be thrilled. Yeah. I mean, they hand T.J. Watt $41 million, and people think it's the greatest thing in the world. He hasn't looked like a Pro Bowler for 5 years. So, I mean, you talk about wasting money. At least they're not spending that much on Cam. I thought it was a good move. I thought, number one, just from a PR standpoint, it would alleviate the whining that we knew was coming a month from now. And I think just, kind of looking at the incentives that he was given last year, that there was no way he would ever meet because the team just wasn't good enough, even though the defense thought it was elite. This is actually more substantial and legitimate. He knows he's getting this. I think it's a way to placate everyone, but the fan base seems angry by this. I was a little bit shocked.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Boy, there's a lot there over the last few days with the Steelers. And we didn't even mention, you did 5 minutes on the Steelers and no mention of Aaron Rodgers or Big Mike. So, wow.
Oh, is Aaron Rodgers a Steeler?
Well,
that's why I didn't mention him. Everybody else is mentioning him.
Well, technically, I think he is. If you Google him, it says Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and Google's very accurate. I don't know. After his 3-hour interview with PM, I won't say his name, another media personality, he still didn't reveal what he's doing next season.
No, and it's time to move on from that, but they won't. But they will not.
No.
Because 10-8 only happens with him.
That's right.
Eyes.
And I look at, I was watching the Malik Willis highlights the last few days. He signed with Miami, and he's young. He's moving around. He's throwing down the field. I'm like, but of course the Steelers not interested there, not interested in Murray, Kyler Murray. We're going to stick with Aaron
The Steelers
Rodgers.
would have never paid the Malik Willis contract
No.
Miami paid. I think they were thinking it was going to be lower and still didn't want him. They'd have never paid what Miami paid him.
No.
Never.
Yeah, but
They only pay linebackers that kind of money.
Right.
They're certainly not going to pay that to a quarterback.
Defensive side of the ball because it is 1976 and defense wins championships. But, yeah, there's a lot there. The Hayward deal, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot there with his off-the-field issues with that podcast. But, hey, I mean, he can do what he wants, I guess. If I were the Steelers, I would say stop it or, do that full-time or you're off the team, but they're not going to do that.
No, he can do what he wants because the
Right.
Steelers let him do what he wants.
Right, exactly. And, 16th season, I mean, he's getting up there. They just spend too much money in general on defense. Now, I like some of the moves. I don't love losing Gainwell, but you bring in Dowdle at running back. You bring in Pittman at wide receiver, which I think was a message to Rodgers because he likes veteran receivers. Pittman's a veteran receiver. He doesn't want to teach people the game. He wants receivers to know what they're doing. That's why he force-fed the ball to Scotty Miller and MVS and all these veterans. So that could bring him back. McCarthy being here could bring him back. But overall, I think at least they're addressing the offensive side of the ball. We'll see what they do with the draft. Yeah, there's a lot there. I again, didn't like losing Gainwell, but I think Pittman and Dowdle are decent additions. I do.
Well, speaking of the defense, there are a lot of rumors swirling around. One big rumor swirling around is that Patrick Queen is going to be moved. I can't imagine anyone taking that contract either, but apparently they feel there are a couple of takers out there. I mean, when you look at what the defense is supposed to do, Queen is a run stopper, and they don't really use the linebackers to stop the run, at least not often enough to dictate the salary that he gets paid. I've also heard numerous rumors about about Alex Highsmith going different places. I've heard 4 or 5 different places potentially that he could be moved to. Now, that'll free a ton of money if they move both of those guys. So that could be something that we're looking at in the future. We know they brought Jamel Dean in to shore up that corner position.
Right.
I think that's a really good move. I don't think it's a great move. I think when you look at Dean, he's a little bit older, so you wonder whether or not he's lost a step. People thought Ramsey was going to be great, and then as the season went on, he started to really tail off quickly. You get into that age 30 and older, it's a lot tougher to play that position, especially, and we know what the Steelers like to do. Now, that might change without Tomlin, but especially if they're asking you to play man. I can't imagine with some of these really speedy, young, fast, big receivers. We know Porter can't stick with them. I can't imagine Dean's going to be able to stick with them on the other side either. Offensively, they get better. Yeah. I think that, Gainwell, he was the MVP, and a lot of people feel he was better than Warren. I thought he was better than Warren.
Thought he was great last year. I loved watching him.
I like Rico Dowdle a lot.
Yeah.
I think Warren should have been the odd man out. I mean, all we talk about is potential with Warren, but we never actually see it. We'll see signs of it. We'll see bursts of it, but we never see anything substantial that lasts for any length of time. And he makes more than what Gainwell was given and what Dowdle was given. So these two both would have been cheaper options than Jaylen Warren in the long run. But maybe with McCarthy, we see Warren utilized how he should have been his entire career instead of what we've seen with Mike Tomlin trying to establish a run and then after 3 carries where you don't get enough yards, just gives up on it and then decides to throw 2 and 3 yard passes to tight ends. So hopefully with McCarthy, he's not going to abandon the running game, especially with an explosive talent like Dowdle. And honestly, I think Warren's explosive too. He won't abandon Pat Freiermuth down the field catching balls. And you still have an issue at receiver. Has it gotten better with Michael Pittman? Yes, but Michael Pittman's 28. And honestly, the last couple of years, and it might be because of the quarterback situation in Indianapolis, but he looked like he was in his mid-30s. I mean, his numbers dropped off drastically over that period of time. But that's okay. The Steelers gave him a 3-year extension where they're going to pay him $20-some million a year. So we're going to make sure we pay him just like we paid Metcalf, whether that talent drops off or not.
Well, yeah, Dave, they're not bringing him in to be a number one. They think DK's a number one, which he's not. JSN's a number one. That's a number one. Jamar Chase is a number one. The Steelers, even without Tomlin, even with an offensive coach, still have no feeling for offense. They think their number one receiver or their number 2 receiver is a 1 and their number 3 is a 2. Pittman and half are not, they're not elite receivers in this league.
Well, I think McCarthy thinks the number one is coming in the draft. But here's the problem. If you think that, then you better not even think about bringing in Aaron Rodgers back, because Rodgers won't throw to whoever it is. Rodgers will bring in at least one more veteran, probably Alan Lazard. And he'll just target those guys down the field wherever he feels like doing it, because he knows they'll be where they're supposed to be. I think that McCarthy probably thinks, well, I don't know about a guy like Mekhi Lemon or Carnell Tate. They're probably going to be long gone. But even a guy like Denzel Boston, okay, if we bring this guy in, he could be our potential number one receiver. Well, okay, then you better get a quarterback that's going to utilize the receivers and not just who they want to, because they feel that they'll do whatever they're told. These young receivers, they've got a lot of explosive power. They can change the game. But Rodgers doesn't, whether he doesn't have time or just can't move well enough to make time, I mean, it's going to be wherever he tells him to go. There's no other option, because he's going to get swarmed on if he tries to exert some other option out of this. So a young, big play receiver, a guy like Smith and Jigba or Justin Jefferson or Chase or one of those guys, they're non-existent in an Aaron Rodgers offense, because he can't get them the ball. Ask Garrett Wilson how well he got the ball from Aaron Rodgers in New York. I mean, short passes, yeah. But if you're going to try to stretch the field, Rodgers can't do that. Even look at Devontae Adams. A lot of the Devontae Adams stats with Rodgers were yards after the catch.
Oh, yeah.
Not, flying down the field, because Rodgers can't move. So there's no time. Not that he can't throw. I mean, he can throw the ball downfield.
Oh, great arm.
He just has he has no mobility to extend plays enough to make something like that happen. So if you think that you're going to bring in the number one receiver in the draft, then you better bring in another quarterback, because Rodgers will not utilize a rookie receiver this year. It just won't happen.
No.
It'll be DK and Pittman, probably mostly Pittman, who we know is not afraid to go across the middle. Of course, he goes across the middle 5 and 6 yards. So that's what you're going to be looking at. Short plays to him, and then Metcalf, if he can hold on to it, or not fist fight members of the crowd, or run the right route, maybe you can get something to him a little further down.
Right. And I hear the defense for Rodgers on the national show as well. Their offense got better. Statistically, it did. Their red zone offense improved. And that's all Aaron. I don't think it was Arthur Smith. Definitely wasn't Tomlin. But you're right. I mean, there are deficiencies there. And it's not his fault he can't move. It's nature. He's going on 43 years old. Still has a great arm. But you're right. He's going to do what he wants. He's not going to be able to move. He doesn't want to incorporate the young wide receivers. And that's an interesting point, especially with the draft being in Pittsburgh. They want a big first-round pick. They want a big pop at that draft. And I don't think it's going to be quarterback. I think I would still take a look at Simpson. I heard the term they're nosing around the quarterback market. I don't know what that means. So maybe they do go receiver in the first round, because besides for quarterback, that'd be the biggest draw at the draft.
And I think they'll trade up to get one.
They might.
To ensure.
They might. But again, will Rodgers want to work with a rookie receiver? I doubt it. So very interesting.
Hopefully by the draft, they've moved on from Aaron Rodgers. Like, how many times can you ask somebody and they tell you, I'm not sure, because they're either feeling out other options or just contemplating retirement? Like, why would you move forward with no one else on the roster? But Steeler fans maybe not all that disappointed, because there's a lot of calling for Will Howard out there, whether it is because they think he's going to be really good or because they think he's going to be really bad. I'm not sure what's the better option at this point.
That's a good point.
And I don't think they care. I think that they look at it and say, hey, if he's really good, then maybe he is our quarterback of the future. And if he's really bad, maybe we can finish low enough that we can go out next year and draft the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, even Ben said that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think he said if he's really bad, go out and draft someone. But he said, look, play him. If he's really good, you got your guy. Now, is he going to be very good? Doubtful. But when you look at the guys on that roster, Rodgers is not the future because, age, and Mason Rudolph isn't for obvious reasons. So, and do you draft someone? You're not in a position to draft someone. If you start Had and he's awful, draft Arch Manning or somebody next year.
And you made a good point when you said under Rodgers, things improved on the offense.
They did.
But you know what didn't improve? The team. They still finished right where they did the year before.
Didn't win a playoff game.
It was still, 10-7, lose the first round of the playoff. The team didn't get any better.
Right.
I mean, you can look at different aspects and say, well, this looked better and this looked better. Red zone.
The red zone was much better, but still.
in the end, the result was still the same.
Right.
Why you would bring him back 1 year older when he did not change the result last year just absolutely blows my mind. It just doesn't make sense. Now, if they don't want a playoff game and you say, oh, now we got Pittman, we got Dowdle, you start naming all these people, give him a few more weapons, but It wasn't any different.
Well, for
he
one
was not a
reason.
game changer, not at 42 years old. He certainly won't be at 43.
They are desperate to win that playoff game, and they believe, and I think they're actually right, Aaron Rodgers gives them the best chance because it's not Rudolph, it's not Howard, it's not whoever they draft, it's not Murray or Willis. I think they're right. But he didn't do it last year, but they're
He
thinking...
was a key reason they lost.
Right. Well, that Houston defense was so good. I mean, I don't think anyone would have won that game for him. None of the other quarterbacks on the roster. But I think Mr. Rooney looks at it and says he gives us the best chance to win a playoff game now with an offensive coach and with better receivers now. So I think he's coming back. I think he will be their week one starter if I had to bet. I really
I'm
do.
surprised the lack of quarterbacks that have been signed up to this point.
Yeah.
Cousins is still out there,
Oh,
Flacco, Kyler Murray. Yeah, but those are guys that you would think
Minnesota's going
at
to get
least
Murray.
early on. Minnesota's the odds-on favorite to get Kyler Murray.
They
and
do
that
not
would
like.
make sense.
They do not like J.J. McCarthy, and neither do my eyes.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's a route for the Steelers to take. Can McCarthy? I mean, we knew Tomlin wouldn't have been able to do anything with him. Could McCarthy do something with him? I
No.
guess would be the question. I mean, you've got McCarthy here. You've got him here for a reason. It's supposed to be for offense and mentoring these young players. I mean, why not go out? If Minnesota's pulling the plug on McCarthy, why not go out and get it and see what can happen? I
Man,
mean, in the end, you got the same name. Maybe that'll help. Are they related?
I really wanted Malik Willis, though, Dave. I think he's really good.
Well, Willis, they weren't going to pay
They weren't.
They weren't going to pay that because he's not veteran enough for this team. And they think they're going to win right now. And I think when you look at Malik Willis, that's something that you say, hey, let's get a few more weapons. This is a guy maybe we can build a team around for the future. They don't want to hear the word future.
Nope.
They want to hear right now. They don't even look beyond week one. They want to win week one. With whatever they put out there, that's their first goal. And then after week one, they want to win week two.
You're right.
They're not talking about Super Bowls or playoffs or anything until they get there. And that, in today's NFL, is a bad mentality to have because it's almost impossible to just go week by week with that. You've got to build, and the only place you can really build is the draft. I mean, you're seeing free agency. What's out there? They bring in guys. They bring in Jamel Dean. He's 30. The guys you're bringing in are old. They're not, if they're young and in their prime, they are locked up by their team until they get to 30 or 31. Then they're out there in free agency.
Look at Mike Evans, as good as he is. It feels like he's been in the league 20 years.
Right.
And he goes to the
loves it.
Niners.
Oh, I'm the last piece that's going to help San Francisco to a Super
They're too
Bowl.
old. And Purdy's not the guy. He's all right, but...
Right. But that's it. I mean, that's what you can get. You're not going to get Jackson Smith and Jigba in
No.
free agency.
No.
But you can get Mike Evans.
Right.
That,
Who does
that's
feel
what
like
you're
he's been
looking
around
at.
forever. I love him, but he feels really old.
Yeah, 12 years in the league.
Coming off an injury.
And he's been injury prone. You know, that's another issue that you're dealing with.
It's a
with
big
a lot
name.
of these guys who are out there, they're injury prone.
Right. It's
I mean,
a big
Pittman's
name.
had quite a few concussions in his tenure as an NFL player as well. So you start to go and you start to look at what's out there. You're not going to build a championship team from free agency. You have to build it from the draft. You have to draft well. You have to develop well. And honestly, I do think that Mike McCarthy's going to do a much better job than Mike Tomlin did with that. But in the end, you're still saddled with a bunch of old, overpaid guys that you can't really move on from because nobody really wants them. I mean, if there's a taker out there for Patrick Queen, I'd move him immediately. I'd move Highsmith too. Not that Highsmith is performing poorly, but if you can move off of $20 million and bring in a couple of younger players to take those spots, why wouldn't you? I mean, why do you have Herbig and Sawyer if you're not going to play them? There's no need to keep a $20 million contract on the books if these guys are ready right now to go in and make an impact in a game. And we don't really know what the defense is going to look like. Is it going to look like it normally does? Are they still going to do a 3-4? Are they going to go back to some form of 4-3? Honestly, is Watt better as an end instead of as an outside linebacker? I mean, he's not getting anywhere near the quarterback in the position that he's in right now. Would it be a little easier as an end rusher? I don't know who'd be on the other side. Maybe Hayward at this point. Put Harmon in the middle and put Benton in the middle.
Well, McCarthy said he's keeping the 3-4.
Is he definitely doing that?
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, I guess I get why because of the linebacker situation, but I don't think you have the inside linebackers for it.
No.
I just, to me, the days of Farrier, like you start looking at guys that excelled at that inside linebacker spot, they don't have that. Maybe they're hoping they have it with Malik Harrison, but they didn't really get anything last year. And I do fear that this is what they're going to draft. They're going to look for some run-stopping inside linebacker instead of all of the other holes that they have on this team right now. And maybe that is the biggest hole. But you can't draft that player if Patrick Queen is still on this roster. You've got to move on from Queen. I don't see a taker. I mean, there are rumors out there, but I think it's just rumors. I don't think anyone has the money under the cap based on young talent that they have, and they know they have to pay in the foreseeable future to invest that kind of capital in Patrick Queen. But that would be my number one. If you're going to move on from somebody, that would be my number one guy to move on from. Oh, and DK. Oh, and Ramsey. I mean, I'd move on from all three of those if I could at this point. Honestly, I think there are better receivers that you can get in free agency right now that are not head cases than whatever you're going to get out of DK Metcalf at this point. Because if Metcalf's not a 1, it's a waste of money.
He's not.
And it's not a 1, so it's a waste of money. Pittman's a good 2 if you draft somebody that could potentially be a 1 that actually has their head on straight, which I think they will. I don't think it's going to be like a Tomlin draft with these reclamation projects.
Can Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson become 1s or even 2s?
I would get rid of Calvin Austin as soon as I possibly could if I were them. He's undersized. Wilson's never going to play if Rodgers comes back.
No.
Rodgers can't stand him. That's never going to be a thing. He'll never get a helmet. So if you bring Rodgers back, might as well move on from Roman Wilson too, because he'll never be on the field. I mean, that's kind of where you are with this situation. Did they do well in free agency? I think I would have to say yes, but it's based on free agency. When I keep telling you there's really nobody out there, there's really nobody out there. Like, that is the legitimacy of what it is. Yes, I think for what they were able to put together, they did as well as they could. You bring in a running back, you lose Kenneth Gainwell, your team MVP, but you bring in Rico Dowdle, who I thought was extremely impressive with Carolina last year. He was impressive with Dallas the year before. 2 years, $12.25 million. That's a steal for the potential of the talent of Dowdle, who can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. You pair him up with Warren, I think it's a really good 1-2 punch. Michael Pittman, I think, is an overshoot on what they could have gotten as a 2. I don't think Pittman's a 1. I think Indianapolis thought he was a 1 for a while. When they decided to re-sign Alec Pierce, then Michael Pittman became expendable. Pittman can be one of the best number 2 receivers in the league as long as you have a capable quarterback throwing to him. I think with a Mike McCarthy-led offense, you're going to get production out of Pittman, production that hasn't been seen in the last couple of years with Indianapolis. I think the Hayward extension was good. I honestly, $16.25 million for 2 years for what he's done at that position. They don't have anybody to come in and take his place, and you're going to eliminate the whining. I think that, he's going to be around till 2027, but the production hasn't really fallen off, so I'm fine with that. I think 3 years, $36.75 for Jamel Dean. I think that's going to be good this year. I think as the years go on, that's going to look worse. So it all depends on if you're able to move off of that at some point. But I think right now he's a very capable number 1. They think he's going to be a 2 corner. They think Porter's the number 1. I think Dean's a little better than Porter, but we'll see. I mean, Porter's definitely got potential. Maybe we'll see him evolve a little bit under a new regime. Cole Holcomb was re-signed at inside linebacker, a guy I like, but a guy that gets hurt all the time. Holcomb will be the leading tackler if he can stay on the field. The problem is he struggles to stay on the field. Asante Samuel Jr., honestly, I think it would have been better if it was Asante Samuel Sr., but for some reason they liked him. Out of all the guys they brought in, grasping at straws, Peppers and Duggar, Samuel seemed to be the one that they liked the best. They bring Darnell Savage in today on a 1-year deal. Jack Driscoll, offensive tackle, on a 1-year deal. The line is still a mess. We don't know if Broderick Jones will ever play football again. Fatano gets put on his back every single time he goes out and tries to block. Sayamalu signed with Arizona earlier in the week. So we've got a converted tight end, Dylan Cook, and Frazier. Those are your offensive linemen right now, and Anderson that we're looking at for the Steelers. So honestly, I don't think they have the line to protect Rodgers. I don't think they have the personnel that Rodgers is going to be happy with as far as him trying to spread the ball around. To me, they got better. I like the idea of an offensive-minded head coach. I think that's better. But in the end, there's still a lot of contracts that are bad, a lot of players that are old. And as an old team in the NFL, I just don't think you have a legitimate chance to win in the playoffs. And quite honestly, looking at what Baltimore and Cincinnati have done the last couple of days, I don't even know if they can make the playoffs as the number 3 team in the North. Because I think whether it's Rodgers, Murray, Cousins, Howard, whoever it is, I can't see them unless both teams are riddled by injuries like they were last year. and it took the last day of the season to win that division. Unless something similar happens this year, I can't see the Steelers as the 1 or the 2 seed in the AFC North. They did something. I don't think they did enough. I don't think there was anything else they could have done to better themselves more, because there's too much talent on Cincinnati, especially on offense. There's too much talent on Baltimore right now. I don't think Pittsburgh had a shot at equaling them. The only chance they have is if everybody gets hurt again, like they did last year.
Yeah.
And they almost blew it last year with
Right.
that happening.
If Burrow and Lamar stay upright, I think they're the teams to beat in that division. Hard to trust Cincinnati. Now they're losing Hendrickson. He goes to Baltimore. Yeah, the Steelers did things. They made improvements. They're focusing more on offense, which I like. But did they do enough? I still don't think so. They're a fine team that can win 9-10 games. But maybe I don't even think the fan base wants that. They'd rather have a 3-4 win season, but that's not the Steelers' MO.
No. And Cincinnati's been pretty active as well.
Yeah.
They signed Jonathan Allen today. They signed Brian Cook, the safety from Kansas City. I think that's a big move. And Boye Mafe. So, I mean, they've gone out and they've made some moves. And they've gotten better on defense. Offense, they were already decent. They got Orlando Brown signed an extension. That might be good. They got to do something to keep Burrow up right there. But I think when you go around and you look in Baltimore with Hendrickson, to me, I just think they've gotten better. And I think Pittsburgh will get better, but I think we're looking at a situation similar to this past year. Will it improve how they end the season? I just don't think so. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look around the rest of the National Football League at some of the other major signings that have happened really since Monday, but that was just tampering, but definitely since yesterday when everything was able to be made official. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's a celebration at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Stop by their home center on Route 51 in Bell Vernon between noon and 4 on Saturday, March 21st, as they celebrate 70 years of building amazing homes. Tour the incredible models on site, featuring spacious kitchens, spa-style bathrooms, and modern appliances. Homes designed with everything you've been looking for. While you're there, be sure to say hi to the WMBS broadcast team, who's going to be there from noon to 2 doing a live show and spinning the station's fabulous prize wheel for your chance to win great prizes. And don't forget to ask about Clayton Homes' tax return special, which is running now through the end of April. Find your dream home this Saturday from noon to 4 at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, located at 4500 Route 51. For more information, visit ClaytonHomesBellVernon.com or call 724-930-2315. You excited for Fish Fry Fridays, but not necessarily sure where you want to go? Then may we suggest the Butte House of Fish at the West Licensing Fire Department on Butte Road in West Licensing. Fish fries are held every Friday through Good Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Dine in or takeout. They offer 4 meal options and various traditional sides, including haluski and pierogies. Enjoy a great meal and then check out their Chinese auction, Progressive 50-50, and other raffles and games. See you Friday at the West Licensing VFD.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, a part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items, including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
That sneeze was in a different zip code, and I still felt the germs.
Relax, Randy. I went to Montgomery Medical. I'm fully shielded.
Like a flu shot?
Flu, COVID, the works. If you haven't caught up on your shots yet, they'll get you sorted in minutes. It's basically a suit of armor, but with less clanking. Then do the double shot. After Montgomery Medical, head over to Renew You Medispa. I got their immunity IV drip.
A Medispa?
You relax, you hydrate, and you give your immune system a VIP upgrade.
Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine.
Ready to score big on your next home? Well, great news. Huge savings are waiting for you at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. From open floor plans perfect for game day parties to energy-efficient homes that will help you save money all season long, these homes are built to deliver. Don't wait on the sidelines. Make the winning play today and find the home that fits your family and lifestyle. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon at 4500 Route 51.
WMBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. If you're watching on TV and trying to figure out where I went, I had to get my nose powdered and get the rest of the makeup that was brought out here to me on so that I looked a little better for the second segment. Rumor had it I didn't look too good. That's why we're not total close-up on this thing yet. So we're getting there. So trying to get this full television experience. Like I said, I feel like the guys on ESPN. I have to start asking for more money like Hayward and Watt do every year now that I'm, getting a little more exposure here with our television contract that we have.
Yeah, you're Adam Schefter. You're getting updates left and right. You're doing a million TV hits a day. You're in demand, Dave.
I'm sure I'm in demand, yes. Looking around the league at some of what has happened, there's been quite a bit that's happened over the last couple of days. For those of you who are New York Jets fans out there, the Jets got their quarterback.
He's back.
How do you do this and think it's a good move?
And
they've had him before.
Might as well bring Joe Namath back or even Chet Pennington.
That might be better.
This is so dumb.
That might be better.
Did you see Geno last year? My Lord.
This is a guy that has aged considerably in the last 2 years. The last year with Seattle was bad, but last year was atrocious. I don't know how anybody could give him a contract. Well, I guess Carolina just paid $4 million for Kenny Pickett, so that should tell you all you need to know.
Bad.
But you bring back Breece Hall, you have Garrett Wilson. You have a semblance of something there. They made a lot of moves in free agency. I mean, they brought in, especially on defense, they brought a lot of guys in, including Demario Davis.
Can they get one interception next year? Because last year, 0. With the defensive coach, by the way, how he kept his job beyond me.
Well, they'll get one because somebody will overthrow the ball 30 yards, and Minka will just be standing there all by himself.
That's
to get
right,
one.
Minka's there.
Yeah, remember Miami traded Minka there, so that could help a little bit in the process.
The Jets just have losing and bad decisions in their DNA.
What an absolute mess. I know people have been asking me about New England and if I'm happy with what they've done. I am. I think that you look at Vera Tucker, which I think is a great move on the May needs help there. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl, the left side, both rookies. So I think, putting him into that position, and he can play tackle or guard, so you can move him around. Romeo Doubs, I think, is great. Yeah. I don't think he's a 1. I think Doubs is a great possession guy, a great 2. I think New England is looking to find a number 1 in the draft as well, and I'm sure they're not afraid to trade up to do it. But Doubs, that's a great move. Of course, they moved on from Stephon Diggs. Yeah. I think Butte's good. That'll help. But I think when you look at the defense, Draymond Jones and Kevin Byard, huge upgrades. Byard was the interception leader last year and played for Vrabel at Tennessee. Draymond Jones, I think that's the pass rusher they needed, somebody that can get somewhere near the quarterback. I'm very happy with what New England has done. Miami, of course, getting Malik Willis. We talked about Willis. We just didn't actually say where he went. They needed a quarterback badly. And Tua's now an Atlanta Falcon, so that should tell you how they feel about Michael Penix. Miami got their quarterback, but they need some receiving help. Waddle's still there, but Tyreek Hill's a free agent.
Right.
Bradley Chubb, formerly of Miami, he's now in Buffalo. DJ Moore is in Buffalo. That's a big move. That's a good number 1 for Allen.
They needed to give Allen something
to be able to utilize as a number 1 target out there. We talked a little bit about Baltimore trying to get Max Crosby. The trade fell through because he failed his physical. They end up with Trey Hendrickson. I'm okay with that. I think that helps the big area of need. I mean, that was a major issue with Baltimore last year, not getting anywhere near the quarterback. So to put something out there, Allen and Cook, I think, will be big helps. And Mafe, maybe more so than even that with Cincinnati. Cleveland, looking around, not a whole lot happening there. Never really is. Nope. I can't imagine someone saying, hey, I want to go to Cleveland as a free agent. David Montgomery in Houston, that could be the missing piece. Think about how bad that running game was. Now, they had Joe Mixon, who never didn't play. That didn't help. You had Woody Marks in there. Daniel Jones signs a 2-year, $88 million contract with Indianapolis, and Alec Pierce re-signs 4 years, $114 million.
That was a lot of money for Pierce.
A lot of money, but Steichen, I mean, it's his offense, and that's the way he likes to, have those guys. Wan'Dale Robinson in Tennessee, so a better option there, I think, throwing the ball for Cam Ward. Denver said they'd take Max Crosby in a heartbeat. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but J.K. Dobbins back there. Alex Singleton there as well. So they re-signed a couple of guys. But probably the biggest name, Kenneth Walker III, the Super Bowl MVP, is now a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah, Seattle.
Are
kept
they
Shaheed.
back? Is Kansas City going to be back in this playoff picture?
I don't know, but Seattle decided with Shaheed over Walker. That was interesting, and the money was pretty similar. And Walker did just win Super Bowl MVP. He was awesome in that game. But yeah, Kansas City, Mahomes, is he going to be healthy week 1? We don't know. Kelsey's back. Yeah. Mrs. Swift or Mr. Swift is back.
Mr. Swift. Well, Mrs. Swift told Mr. Swift to play football.
Yeah,
again,
you can
so.
keep working, honey. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the AFC. Maybe on the second half, we'll talk NFC. We've got Penguins, Pirates, the World Baseball Classic. A lot still to get to. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Sports Voice is coming up next.
Oh, yes. Got to get to the WBC. And the NBA. How about BAM? Your local station, 590 and 101.1 W266DB, WMBS, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Right now, outside of our Davis & Davis studios, we are looking at 41 degrees. Great day for golf. Wind advisory, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. tomorrow. This is WMBS. It's 5 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A vehicle ramming incident at the Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan is under investigation. The suspect was engaged by security guards and is dead. An injured security guard was taken to a hospital. President Trump says he has been fully briefed, and he and the First Lady send their love to the Jewish community.
It's a terrible thing, but it goes on. We're going to be right down to the bottom of it. It's absolutely incredible that things like this happen.
2 law enforcement sources tell CBS News the suspect's body is badly burned, complicating identification, and there were mortar-type explosives in the vehicle. CBS News Detroit's Lauren Winfrey is at the scene.
We're seeing families reunited with their children. In fact, some of them even being escorted by police. We just saw that happen just a bit ago. So a lot of police presence out here, a lot of emergency vehicles. Nothing active happening right now.
CBS's Scott McFarland reports.
The broader concern comes from FBI bulletins we've been reading over the last few weeks and months. They have been issuing warnings from the FBI and Department of Homeland Security about extra potential targeting of Jewish institutions across America.
The suspect in a shooting today at Old Dominion University in Virginia is an ex-Army National Guard member with a past terror conviction. CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
1 person was killed and 2 others hurt in the shooting. The gunman is also dead. He's been identified by law enforcement as Mohammed Baylor Jallo, a former Virginia National Guardsman. He pleaded guilty in 2016 to attempting to provide ISIS with material support. He was sentenced to 11 years in prison and released in December of 24. He reportedly became radicalized while still in the Guard, listening to lectures by the former leader of al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula.
Iran's secretive top leader vows to keep up attacks in his first statement since being appointed. As CBS's Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv reports.
They've shown with their reach that they can go after areas like off the coast of Iraq, going after Bahrain, going after Oman. This is where the Iranians have shown that they have got that reach. They'll continue to fire with those drones, despite what President Trump and the U.S. military is trying to do to stop those launches.
The Artemis 2 moon mission launch was postponed after fuel leaks and other issues forced NASA to roll the spacecraft off the launch pad for repairs. Today, some good news for NASA. The rocket is expected to be rolled out to the launch pad next week. NASA's Dr. Lori Glaze.
Pending completion of the work in the VAB and at the pad, we are on track for a launch as early as April 1st.
This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Take the fact book.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? FACT, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. FACT, your community, your connection.
You may have noticed a new internet company knocking at your door with claims like, "I'm not here to sell you anything," or "I wouldn't lie to you." The truth is, Armstrong has played an important role in your community for decades, and we're not going anywhere. That new internet provider will probably change their name, get bought out by another company, or fold completely. Armstrong. The internet you count on, the people you trust. Visit ArmstrongOneWire.com today or anytime in the future.
Rhode Island's high school hockey player who lost 3 family members in last month's shooting during a game was an overtime hero last night.
Blackstone Valley wears the initials of Colin Dorgan's mother, brother, and grandfather on their jerseys. A trip to the state championship game was on the line last night when Blackstone Valley and Portsmouth went to double overtime. Like a scene out of a movie, Dorgan scored on a breakaway. Dorgan burst into tears, as did everyone in the stands, as he was mobbed by his teammates.
Greatest moment of my life. We have each other's back, and we truly love each other as a family, as brothers.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Worries about the war with Iran sent oil prices back to $100 per barrel and stocks sinking worldwide. The Dow fell 739 points. The Nasdaq sank 404. The center of the action was again the oil market, where the price of a barrel of Brent crude got as high as $101 a barrel. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
Your local station, WMBS. Good afternoon. I'm Nick Barczyk. It is 5:05 on a Thursday, and outside our Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown, 41 degrees under cloudy skies. A wind advisory tomorrow from 8 a.m. to midnight, so a very windy day on tap. Much more on the Weather Watch and the sports in just a bit. Good afternoon. The number of first-time filings for unemployment are increasing around Pennsylvania. The U.S. Labor Department says for the week ending March 7th, there were over 11,000 first-time filings for unemployment in the Keystone State, which is more than 1,000 from the week before. Around the nation, the number of initial filings dropped compared to the week before. Conditions of drought are improving around southwest Pennsylvania. The latest update from the U.S. Drought Monitor shows no drought conditions right now in Allegheny, Fayette, Washington, and Westmoreland counties. The rest of the state is still very dry, abnormally dry, moderate, or severe with drought conditions as we enter the middle of March. The Herald Standard reports that 2 state senators in southwest Pennsylvania, Pat Stefano of Fayette and Cameron Bartolotta of Washington, are expected to face challengers in the upcoming GOP primary. Stefano is going to face Harry Young Cochran of Connellsville in the 32nd District, while Bartolotta is likely to be challenged by Albert Buckton of Cannonsburg in the 46th Senate District. The winners of those elections will then run against Democratic candidates in the November general election, with the primary election in May. Several competitive races for nearby state House seats are happening as well, while a few incumbents in Fayette are running unopposed. Pennsylvania U.S. Senator John Fetterman this week said he believes the U.S.-Israel war with Iran has been effective and is moving toward an appropriate outcome. Fetterman argues that the conflict has shown Iran's military capabilities to be weak, saying it's undeniable that Iran never really had the kind of capabilities to respond effectively. Scientists may have discovered a pill to treat sleep apnea, and it could benefit those living here in southwest Pennsylvania.
A European clinical trial found that the drug sulfiame was remarkably effective in reducing breathing interruptions in people with moderate to severe sleep apnea. Researchers at the University of Gothenburg in Germany say patients taking higher doses had up to 47% improved oxygen levels and fewer pauses in breathing during sleep. They think their findings could pave the way for a medication-based alternative to CPAP machines. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
More next on WMBS.
Is that a bird I hear? I think it's spring. We have to get the junk out of the garage. I need a shed, but a cool shed, yeah. Maybe a she shed or an office shed.
I know just the place where you can find the perfect shed. It's Ultimate Structures on Route 51 in Perry Township.
Well, that's good, because I need to see them for myself.
See large and small sheds, office sheds, animal shelters, recreational cabins, garages. It's unbelievable, right in Bell Vernon. Visit the Mega Lot at Ultimate Structures. Order right now, and you'll get our 12% spring discount on all new shed orders.
I'm Googling Ultimate Structures Bell Vernon. Okay, they're just outside Perryopolis. There's a website and a Facebook page, plus that 12% discount right now.
Ultimate Structures is the only independent dealer representing JDM Structures in Pennsylvania. Stop in. We design what you desire.
It is 5:08. In a recent poll by personal injury law firm Munley Law, which surveyed 3,015 U.S. workers, some of them from Pennsylvania, who commute by vehicles, found that I-376, the Parkway East on either side of the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, is the third worst stretch of highway in Pennsylvania. The first and second worst in the state, according to the poll, are I-95 between South Philadelphia and Bucks and the Schuylkill Expressway, a busy section of I-76 in the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia. In sports, we have Baco baseball tonight. Pirates taking on the Tigers, or that's tomorrow, actually. This evening, taking on the Braves in Bradenton. They'll take on the Tigers in Lakeland Friday night. We'll bring you both games at 6 this evening. Again, the Bucks and the Braves this evening from Bradenton at 6 on WMBS. Then after that, stay up late with the Penguins out in Vegas, taking on the Golden Knights on the air at 9. Pregame for that with the face-off just after 10. So stay up with us on WMBS. In high school news today, the Whippy will release the new football alignment for the next 2-year cycle starting in the fall. Locally, Uniontown, Abbott-Gallatin, and Laurel Highlands will all be in Section 3 Class 4A for 2026. And now the weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania on this Thursday. Going to be a windy day tomorrow. Wind advisory from 8 a.m. to midnight Friday. But right now we're at 41, low tonight 30, clear skies. The rest of the way cloudy skies, but no rain expected. Going up to 60 for Friday, low at 34. Chilly start to the weekend at 49 for Saturday with sun. Warming up a bit to 67 Sunday, low at 54. Back into the 60s at 62 with rain likely Monday, maybe some snow flurries late, the low at 21. Then a winter-like day, the dead of winter-like day, 26 on Tuesday, and the overnight low at 19, then up to 41 on Wednesday. That's where we are right now. 41 feels like we're in the low 30s at 5:11 on this Thursday. And good afternoon from the Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. The Stock Report is next from Jenny Montgomery Scott. Then the second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway, all on the way next on WMBS.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
Good evening. This is Jeremy Hoover of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 739 points, closing at 46,678. The NASDAQ Composite was down 404 points, closing at 22,312. The S&P 500 was down 103 points, closing at 6,673. Among companies of local interest are Apple, $255.76, Amazon, $209.53, Cisco, $77.74, Boeing, $204.75, Caterpillar, $700.21, Disney, $99.42, ExxonMobil, $153.53, First Energy, $50.82, Johnson & Johnson, $242.01, Home Depot, $338.90, Intel, $45.25, McDonald's, $323.80, Meta Platforms, $638.18, PNC Financial Services, $202.68, Raytheon Technologies, $202.98, Rockwell Automation, $358.08, Tesla, $395.01, Verizon, $50.60, and Walmart, $125.33. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 739 points, closing at 46,678. The NASDAQ Composite was down 404 points, closing at 22,312. And the S&P 500 was down 103 points, closing at 6,673. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all your investment needs, this is Jeremy Hoover.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has 2 convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borge Jr.
Looking for a fireplace? Cobalt Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is more than your plumbing supply store. We specialize in fireplaces of all fuel types, such as gas, wood, pellet, and electric. We're now featuring Harmon pellet stoves from Forge and Flame, perfect for keeping your family warm and cozy. Call Cobalt today at 724-437-8824 or visit cobaltsupply.com to start planning for the winter season. Cobalt Building Supply, everything you need to make your house feel like home.
There's only one best lunch spot in Uniontown. Titlo Tavern and Grill on West Main Street, serving 8-ounce Reubens, foot-long cheesesteaks and subs, half-pound handmade burgers, plus pizza, calzones, strombolis, pepperoni rolls, and fresh salads like Greek, antipasto, salmon, steak, and chicken. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 9, Friday till 10, Saturday 2 to 10. Dinner and happy hour specials nightly, and private parties are welcome. Call 724-437-6749. Titlo Tavern and Grill.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Voice. Ahead on this hour, your Pittsburgh Penguins. Where actually are they at this point? Is this a team that you look at, especially after the last week, and say they can actually contend for the Stanley Cup? We know the playoffs are pretty much inevitable, but what exactly will they do there? Are we still holding out hope that when Malkin and Crosby come back, some of the issues that we've seen lately will just magically fix themselves? Or do they just become older? I think, if anything, at least it's a little break for both guys to maybe get their legs back. But we don't know if Crosby's legs are coming back. There's really been no update that it looks good, it looks worse, he's coming back on schedule, we're pushing that back. Like, we've heard really nothing, and that might be the scarier piece of all of it that's happening right now. I still stand by what I said. Without Sidney Crosby, this team goes nowhere in the postseason. And I know guys have stepped up. Mantha primarily has stepped up. But in the end, I just don't think there's enough firepower there when you start playing the best teams, especially once you get into the end of this month and every game becomes a playoff game. I just don't see how you can hang in there with teams loaded with young talent, with a mostly veteran team that is missing some of its key components at this point. But we'll get into the Penguins. We'll talk a little bit about the Pirates. Spring training is slowly coming to an end. We're almost at the middle of March. By the end of the month, the regular season will start. Still a lot of questions as to who will be on the opening day roster for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Connor Griffin is still in camp. A number of players have been optioned into the minor leagues already. Griffin's now hitting under 200, but he showed pop. He's got 3 home runs. Does he deserve to make this team out of training camp? And if he does go to the minors, where and for how long will he be there? March Madness just around the corner. All of the conference tournaments are happening as we speak. Sunday will be the selection, and then the NCAA tournament starts on Tuesday with play-in games both Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the biggest days of the year in college basketball next Thursday and next Friday, as all 64 teams that are into that, I guess, second round of the NCAA tournament will be playing each other. And, of course, one of my favorite shows, as I'm talking about all of the probably local news that's happening in sports next week, we also get to get into the ongoing games as they're happening. And potentially with our new advanced television equipment, we may be able to have a running scoreboard underneath, which will show you all of the scores as they are evolving while we're on the air. We could probably put literally anything on that thing if it works. So that's the goal for the week, to try to figure out whether or not we can make that happen. I was a little late getting here to start the second hour. I was getting my makeup touched up so that I could be ready for TV because, that's the new thing. I remember when this just used to be a radio show not all that long ago, and now we are full-fledged television. So I appreciate everyone tuning in and watching and listening, and I hope I look okay to be on television. This new camera's got me nervous. I feel like I might get axed because I just don't have the face for TV maybe with that. So
you're a beaut, Dave.
Trying to do my best with all of that. We spent a lot of time in the first hour talking about the Steelers and what they've done so far in free agency and trades. Michael Pittman brought over in a trade. Rico Dowdle, Jamel Dean brought over in free agency. Definitely some new faces. Are they upgrades? Probably. We will see. I think the head coaching position, it almost has to be an upgrade no matter who you put in there at this point. So a lot still to be seen from the Steelers. We went through some of the AFC's top free agent signings over the last couple of days. We'll try to get some NFC news in there for you before we go off the air. Of course, look to see anything else major that's happening. We'll look at some of the college basketball scores from these conference tournaments that are taking place right now. Nick's got his NBA and WNBA roundups to go through. Apparently some guy named Bam from Miami had over 80 points. This is Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, and now Bam. So Nick will tell you all about him, like what his last name is and who he plays for, and all of that great stuff that goes along with the NBA roundup that will be taking place as well. I'm going to start with hockey for this second hour because the Penguins, they are the team that's still playing. There's a lot to talk about with them. They played Carolina, the team that they're chasing in the Metro for first place. Did not turn out as they had hoped. Yet again, going to a shootout, another shootout loss. Doesn't really seem to matter which goaltender is in for these shootouts. They struggle immensely. And the Penguins keep talking about, there's no shootout in the playoffs, but where could you be if you'd have won a few of these things? Probably in better shape than what they're in right now. They're tied with the Islanders, and we've talked a lot about how essential it is for the Penguins to finish in the top three of the Metro because there is no guarantee the wild card is going to come from the Metro. Both wild cards can come from the Atlantic. So you've got to be careful with just giving points away. And I think you start looking at the Flyer game, you're just giving points away at this time. And what a great job for Evgeny Malkin to go out and get suspended because they've not looked good without him. They did get a 5-4 win over Boston, but they were getting manhandled in that game until the third period, one of the best third periods that I've seen from the Penguins all year to come back and tie and then win in overtime. But then you lose in a shootout to Carolina. Same thing with Philadelphia. You lose there. So definitely they need to get some continuity. They need consistency at this point because when you go back and you look at the last 7 games, they're 2-5. That's not exactly cruising into the playoffs. And as you get closer to the end of the season, the last games of the regular season closely resemble playoff games. Talked about the age, talked about the legs, talked about just some of what the Penguins need to make sure that they do down this stretch. They need to make sure that they're fresh, and I'm not convinced they're going to be as this continues to evolve. The Penguins in action tonight. It's a late game. They don't play until 10 o'clock. They're at Vegas playing the Knights, one of the teams they blew out in this last 7-game stretch. They won 5-0 a couple of weeks ago against Vegas. The Olympics definitely put a crunch on this season because you've got so many games in such a short period of time. There's not a lot of rest down the stretch for this team. Evgeny Malkin, we talked about that earlier, got suspended for slashing Rasmus Dahlin in the head. And it's one of those things that, Dahlin, he's an agitator. Brandon Hagel was beating him up just a couple of days after that. So he gets under the skin. But Malkin has been around for the better part of 20 years. You're a professional. You're a veteran. You're the captain of this team without Sidney Crosby. You can't let that get to you. You can't just take liberties. He gets suspended for 5 games, and the Penguins have not looked good, really, outside of the third period against Boston. And they did come back against Carolina to get a point. They salvaged a point out of it, which now at least has them tied for second, and they're not in third by themselves. But in the end, you can't let that hot-headedness get to you. Malkin should have figured out another way. You can't get suspended. He's a repeat offender for that many games in a stretch where your best player isn't playing. And that's another issue that we're looking at right now is Sidney Crosby. We don't know anything. We thought by now there would be an update. Hey, he's out there skating. We've not really heard anything about that. Maybe he's ahead of schedule. That 4 weeks was from the time he was injured, which still was technically a week of the Olympics. Maybe he'll be back in 3. That's not happening. So will we see Sidney Crosby again this year? That's still up in the air. We don't know. And honestly, without him, I can't see much of anything happening. I don't even know if they make the playoffs, especially based on their performance in the last week and a half. So I think taking a look at what you have here, they've definitely overachieved. They're 32, 17, and 15. But in the end, if you look at those overtime losses, they're really 32 and 32, which is 500 at this point. Now, what really have they done? Are they 32 and 17 or are they 32 and 32? What do they look like some nights? What do they look like other nights? Carlson has played better than I've seen him play in a Penguin uniform. Letang has lost more than a step. I mean, you could take one at a time and go from there. Anthony Mantha, I think, has been an absolute star, probably the best player on the ice. You'd look for somebody to step up when Crosby was hurt. You thought it was going to be Malkin, and then he goes and gets himself suspended for 5 games. Anthony Mantha is the guy that stepped up, but then you have to take a look at that, and you say to yourself, well, we signed him to a 1-year deal before the season started. He can walk for free if he wants to. There's no guarantee the Penguins are going to be the one that throw the money out there. Somebody's going to throw a decent amount of money at Anthony Mantha, as they should. Like I said, he's been the best player on the ice for the last 3-4 games. I didn't say to trade him because I thought he was going to be bad. I said to trade him at the deadline because they weren't going to get anything for him if they didn't do it. And whatever he's doing now is just increasing his value. So if the Penguins do want to re-sign him in the offseason, they're probably going to overpay because he's not the youngest guy in the league. And that, again, is another example of kicking the can down the road. I think you hang on to him only if you believe they're going to win a cup, and they're certainly not going to win a cup. I just don't think it was the right move to let him walk. I think another guy is Stuart Skinner. Not only do I think it wasn't beneficial for them to just let him walk for nothing at the end of the year, but I don't think he's one of the 2 best goaltenders on this team right now. I think Shilovs has shown, at least in regulation, that he's probably the number 1 at this point, but Murashov's the number 1 goaltender in this organization. He should be there now. If they think they're going on a playoff run, they should be doing it with the best goaltender they have, and that's Murashov. Skinner should have been traded at the deadline. Instead of this loyalty and this leaning on veterans, you need to go with the best people if you're committed to this, and Murashov is just better. He's torn up the AHL all year. What more needs to be proven there? He should be on the NHL roster, and he should be the go-to guy as they go down the stretch. You think he's a stud? Well, this is where he can prove it. There's nothing left to prove at any other level of minor league hockey. He's done all that he can do there. It's time to get him up and see what he has. Ville Koivunen has been back and looked good, I think. I don't, like, you start looking at these young guys, and I know they're mixed in with veterans. We talked a lot about McGroarty and whether or not he was ready. And I hope, because he gets a little older, you get beyond that point. Ville Koivunen, one of the players acquired for Gensel, you look at him and the small sample size, he goes down to AHL, he's player of the month. Like, these are guys that you can't just keep sending back. They've done all that they can. In baseball, we call them 4A guys. Is that what they are in hockey? I hope not. I hope they can contribute at the NHL level. They've gotten opportunities. This isn't Sullivan. Muse puts them out in the top 6 to see what these guys can do, usually when he calls them up. Avery Hayes, I think Avery Hayes overachieved what we saw out of him in his first game, and then the couple of hat tricks down at Wilkes. That's not Avery Hayes. Avery Hayes is a 3rd, 4th line grinder. I think he can score, which is good. He's an agitator. He's a player that they need on this roster. Don't just assume he's a number 1 line guy. I don't think he is. I think that's a place where maybe you can put someone like Tristan Brose, who they refuse to call up and give any playing time to because they're afraid he's going to be better than some of what they have, and then force them to make a decision they don't want to make. But I think that's a guy that needs to be around. I think when you look at Ben Kindle, Kindle has played very well all year. The last few games have been some of the worst games I've seen Kindle play. Maybe he needs a break, a rest, I'm not sure, but he has definitely declined. The mistakes, the turnovers that we've seen recently have been out of character for what we've seen from Ben Kindle. They bring in Sam Girard. He ends up hurt. Connor Clifton in and out of the lineup. I'm not real sure what they want there. He's another agitating type player. He's a hitter. You would think that's someone that they want in, but it's been back and forth. They like this Soyevnov. I haven't seen much. I mean, he's big. That's about all I've seen there. Letang, many games, is the worst defenseman on the ice. Ryan Shea has looked good. I think when you look at it, it's a mixed bag of what you have there. The fourth line, probably the best fourth line in hockey right now, so you definitely have that. Novak has overachieved. I mean, there's more good than bad when you go through it, but yet here you are still not sure whether or not you're a playoff team. You're still kind of on that doorstep. If the season ends right now, you're in. But 2-5 in the last 7, you have another stretch like that, and then we're going to be saying in 2 weeks, well, if the season ends right now, you're out. I mean, that's how close it is in the NHL. Not only are they tied with the Islanders, but all of a sudden Columbus is only 3 points back. Then there's separation. Then you've got 8 points between you and Philly and Washington and New Jersey, and the Rangers are pretty much done at this point. But you start looking at the Atlantic, and there are a lot of teams in the 70s and 80s there. You start to question whether or not this is a sure bet, clear-cut playoff team. You've got to win as many games as you can, not just salvage a point, because while you're salvaging points, teams like the Islanders are collecting too. You've got to win as many games as you can. You need separation. You'll probably never catch Carolina, but you've got to distance yourself from at least Columbus at this point and any other team on the border in the Atlantic that can potentially take a wild card. You've got to be in the top 3. It's got to be Carolina, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders. Somehow, some way, those 3, you guarantee your spot. You get down into that wild card slot, there's no guarantee that you're going to make the playoffs. So still a tough stretch to go. The Penguins right now, 64 games in. It's an 82-game season, so we're 18 games from the end of this. A lot of hockey left to be played, a lot of what's going to resemble playoff hockey left to be played, and we still have those question marks whether or not we're going to see Sidney Crosby back. We know Malkin will be back in a couple of games once the suspension is over, but if this team wants to legitimately contend, Sidney Crosby has to come back. They've done a good job playing the secrecy game where we aren't really sure. We just assume he'll be back in a couple of weeks, but there has been no confirmation really one way or the other. No real sightings of Crosby out there doing anything physical. I'm worried that we may not see him again the rest of the year. And once again, it'll go back to the Olympics, and the debate will come, should he have played, should any of them have played. You may have cost the Penguins an opportunity to go deep for one last time with the 3 biggest stars in recent time because he gets hurt in an Olympic game, not even in an NHL game. So a lot to be said, a lot to discuss, a lot to go along with. Hockey, a very exciting sport, especially in this area. The Penguins have had the star power for probably as long as most people can remember, going from Lemieux to Yager to Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. Carlson there, another big-time star in hockey, and some others that have been sprinkled in through the mix there during all of that time. But I really worry that they put all their eggs into this basket, and I don't know if the basket's going to be full at the end of the season. I think you risk, guys like Mantha, Raquel, Skinner. I mean, 2 of those 3 are on expiring contracts. Raquel, each game he plays is going to be less that you're going to get for him in return. I still say he should have been moved last year, but we were worried about a point per game in a season, stats, and that type deal. So, regardless, at some point, this team has to start thinking about the future because, unfortunately, no matter how they've looked all year, they're not going to win a Stanley Cup in the present. And the longer you delay this is going to be the longer it's going to take for them to win a Stanley Cup in the future.
Right, and yeah, I mean, they're a team that is not going to win a cup this year, but I think they can. It looks like they're going to make it now. Mantha's been great, and you're right about trading him. It's not because he's not been good; he's been great, but maybe to get some value there, you have to look to the future eventually. And with Sid, Malcolm, Letang, their time winding down, they have to move past the nostalgia act a bit and move to the future. But again, it's been a nice run here. The game against Boston was fun to watch. They're playing good games. They're playing fun games.
Oh, yeah.
And now there's a trip now with Carolina, at Vegas, at Colorado, at Utah. It's a lot of games far away from home, so it's a tough test as we head down the home stretch of the regular season.
But these are stressful, taxing games that take a lot out of you. You look at the scores, 4-3, losing a shootout to Philly.
Yeah.
5-4, come back.
What a game that
and
was.
win
I
a game
watched
in
it.
overtime against Boston, and then come back against Carolina and lose 5-4.
Yeah.
Nick, these are playoff games.
Sure.
That come with the
they're
the
long
stress.
games.
Yes.
Going
they
into
come with
shootouts.
everything that goes along with a playoff game. You can only sustain that for so long
Right.
if you're a veteran team.
Right, you're going to wear down a bit, but they're playing well. Again, Malkin, that was a ridiculous thing he did, and a rookie mistake for a guy almost 40, and then Sid not being there. But the guys who are there, fine. First 3-goal comeback without Sid or Malkin in the lineup in 25 years, that's something. So it's a resilient group.
I mean, they play a very basic style. It's not all of the flash and showmanship of Sullivan
Right.
with guys that couldn't play that style, as he's finding out in New York with a bunch of guys that can't play that style. But when you look at it, it's just basic hockey. They do it very well. You're seeing career years from people like Mantha.
Mantha's been unreal.
Rust has had a great year
Yes,
this
he
year.
has.
You start going through, and you look at that fourth line with Lizotte and Dewar and Ashari. Not only are they doing all the little things right, those guys are scoring too. They're not big-time minuses like what you used to have back in the days of Craig Adams and Tanner Glass. These are legit players out there. I think Muse has got the most out of just about every single person he's put out there on the ice. That's why the Penguins are where they are. But let's not forget, this is a team that has overachieved. And when it gets down to the playoffs, that's usually where that catches up with you.
Right.
Especially if they can't get Crosby out on the ice for this. I think Malkin is really good, but he's not Crosby. And it's tough when you say that about a 38-year-old, that it's crucial that they're out there. But it's crucial that he's out there.
Oh, he's the Brady of hockey, yeah.
I mean, they have a really good supporting cast, but no one that can step up and be that player.
And the goaltending's been fine. Shilovs has been, I think, the better of the two. Skinner's kind of cooled off a bit.
Murashov needs up there.
Murashov needs up there. And another point, no shootouts in the playoffs, and that's their bugaboo. So,
well, they don't win any shootouts. They might not get to the playoffs.
Well, there's that.
They got to do some. They got to win a couple of these down the
Yeah.
stretch. You can't lose every one. I think they've won one shootout all year.
Right.
15 overtime losses. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like
great
that-
overtime win Sunday against Boston, but too many losses.
And I still say I don't think you should get a point if you lose in overtime. I just don't think you should. I think
How about
it's
to
a
get rid of the whole
novelty
point
in
system?
itself, but you should not get a point. I get it. Give the point for the gimmick that you do just to decide a winner with the shootout, but you should not get one in overtime.
Shouldn't they just get rid of the point system? To casual hockey fans, they're like, what is this?
Yeah,
Nobody
well,
understands it. No
it's
other
like-
sport does it.
It's like one of those things they've always done.
Right.
Just like, why do we have umpires in baseball?
Yeah, baseball's great at
calling
that.
balls and strikes. Well, because we've always had them.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's they all. It's hard for a lot of these sports, probably every sport, to abandon everything from their past.
Right.
There are a few things. The NFL seems more willing.
Football's the best.
Yeah, they're more willing, but there are still some things that are there that probably shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
from the distant past, but like the definition of what a catch is.
Well, they can never figure that out.
yeah.
How about goalie interference? The NHL doesn't know what that is. I mean,
No, and
there's
it
a
all
lot of these-
depends. You could watch something on review one game and it's goalie interference and watch the exact same thing in another game.
Right.
And it isn't.
And that's the human element. You're never going to get rid of that. Even if we took umps completely and officials out of it and just did cameras and video review, there's still going to be errors. There just are.
I
so.
agree. But you can control the points you
Right.
divvy out for certain things. And I just think that if you go to overtime and you lose, you should not get any point. You don't deserve a point when you lose in
Well,
overtime.
the idea is you fought to get to overtime, and the object is to win in regulation. So I kind of get it, but, I don't know.
I just think it makes, like the Penguins are 32-32.
Right.
That's what they are.
It sounds
They're-
a lot
they're-
better when you don't say
Right.
that, when you give the actual record.
Right.
that
I
they
mean, when you
use.
say 32-17, I mean, that sounds like
sounds
it's really
great.
good, but they're
Yeah.
32-32.
Right.
They're 500. And as good as they've looked,
Is that above the mean?
they're 500. That is the mean.
Pirates would kill for that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be a
32.
huge celebration at PNC if they were 500.
If they were 32-32 after 64, there'd be a parade down Federal Street.
We'd be talking playoffs.
Bob Nutting would be hoisting Paul Skeens up on his shoulders.
Yeah.
and-
Nutting would be checking to see if Chris Archer's available at the trade deadline. That's how excited they would be if that was the case. Yeah. I mean, it's a different atmosphere, but the Penguins, when you look at what's there, you're expecting more. And the fan base expects more. And quite honestly, the organization expects more.
Right.
You got Crosby still on that team. You want to win. And I get why they had such a hard time rebuilding and then trying to explain to him, hey, we're going to bring all these young kids up that may or may not be good. We don't have any like first overall picks or anything like that because we've been so good for so long. We're picking in the middle and the bottom. We're just going to just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks and put them out there with you. Like, I get why they're doing what they're doing, but you also have to be realistic to a sense that they're not going to win a cup like this. So let's not pretend that they're going to by keeping guys around on expiring contracts and burying the best goalie in your system down in the AHL, where he's by far and away the best goaltender there. It just doesn't make sense. You could use help. You've got 15 losses in overtime or a shootout. You can use help at the NHL level. Get him up there. They should have traded Skinner at the deadline. There's no need to keep him around. He's had his chance in the playoffs with Edmonton and failed every time too. Sheloves has looked better. Pair him up with Murashov. Murashov eventually overtakes him. That's the best thing you can do right now for this team, not just for this year, if you really think you can do something legitimate, but for the future, because that's your guy in the future. Might as well get him some experience now while the team's playing decently.
Right, agree. Absolutely. It's going to be a fun stretch down the next few weeks and going into the playoffs.
I agree. Let's take a break early. We still have some things to talk about. We've got to talk Pirates a little bit. We're getting to the middle of March. Those Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March. The Ides of March is probably when Connor Griffin's going down to the minors. So beware the Ides of March. We'll talk about what Griffin has done and whether he deserves to make this team out of camp. The guys they've brought in as free agents have all played pretty well. So that's got to be a huge plus for Ben Cherington and Pirate management at this point. And we'll look at some of the NFC free agent moves. We'll look at what's going on in college basketball right now. We'll check the wire to see if anything new has come across. See, if I had that thing on the bottom, we could put all kind of news and info and scores and everything down there.
The ticker.
The ticker. We need the ticker. And then Nick's going to give you the at least NBA roundup. We got to talk about another 80-point scorer.
Bam.
In the NBA.
From
Bam.
way downtown, bam.
Yes, and I don't know if anyone scored 80 in the WNBA, so we'll get to that for you as well. So
Caitlin.
a lot to come. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Well, look no more, because with over 200 vehicles, Gary's Auto Sales is the largest used car dealer in the area. Whether you want a car, a truck, or an SUV, you'll absolutely find what you're looking for at Gary's. Gary's has been in business since 1974. You can visit them online at Gary'sAutoSales.com, or you can give them a call at 724-626-8080. Gary's Auto Sales. Many miles, many smiles.
Join WMBS Saturday mornings at 8:15 a.m. for the Master Gardener Show with Bert Sisler from Penn State's Master Gardener program. The weekly program will take you through the growing season, from planting your garden, preparing the soil, starting plants from seeds, through to the planting of vegetables, herbs, annuals, and perennials, to the fall harvest of vegetables. Our Master Gardener program is being brought to you each Saturday by Miller's Greenhouses and Flower Shop, Route 119 in Smithfield.
Franco's Golf Center is open during the winter months, Tuesday through Sunday, starting at 11 a.m., closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday 9 to 4:30 and Saturdays 8 to 12 noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus or Braggs a call today, 724-439-3228 for Cherokee Recycling, where recycling makes the most sense.
You may have noticed a new internet company knocking at your door with claims like, "I'm not here to sell you anything," or "I wouldn't lie to you." The truth is, Armstrong has played an important role in your community for decades, and we're not going anywhere. That new internet provider will probably change their name, get bought out by another company, or fold completely. Armstrong, the internet you count on, the people you trust. Visit ArmstrongOneWire.com today or anytime in the future.
WNBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. Taking a look at baseball, there's a little bit of, some distraction going on with spring training because we have the fake Olympics, or as everyone calls it, the World Baseball Classic.
They've been fun.
That's taking place. Yeah, there's some interesting. How about Italy beating the United States?
Italy beat the U.S.
Yeah, I thought to myself, well, the two best teams have to be probably Japan and the Dominican Republic. And I looked at the Dominican, and there's some really good position players. The pitching is a little bit lacking with them. Japan, a lot of names I didn't recognize on that team, but I'm sure they're all studs because you look at every player that comes from Japan to Major League Baseball, they seem to fit right in and excel immediately. Is Italy, like who? I haven't watched enough. Who's on this Italy team?
Well, I know who's their manager. Pete Bella, Francisco Cervelli. Congratulations, Francisco.
Oh, well, I didn't even know that.
Yes, he is.
Well, his name's been tossed around the last couple of years in Major League Baseball. He was a bench coach with San Diego, and his name got thrown around as a potential manager.
If Derek Shelton can get 2 jobs, Cervelli can get 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine Cervelli being a worse manager than he was a player. Well, I shouldn't say player, than he was a catcher, especially defensive catcher.
Yeah.
But I also can't imagine him being any worse than Derek Shelton. So
Who got another chance, amazingly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm enjoying it. That U.S. game against Mexico was great. Good to see Rowdy Tellez. They have a loaded lineup, but yeah, it's been fun.
A lot of ex and current Pirates. Carlos Santana's on the Dominican team, and 2 current Pirates, Dennis Santana and Gregory Soto are there. So
and Skeens pitched phenomenally the other night. Didn't blow out his arm. Nick Gonzalez is out there.
Yeah.
Sparkling defense from Bobby Witt, who nobody knows because he's in Kansas City. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's something.
Aaron Judge is hitting homers. It's great.
And the best part is it's not happening right in the middle of the regular season.
No.
So at least it's happening early and giving the guys a chance. I think they're getting maybe even a better experience, a more competitive experience than they would have gotten if they were with their team in spring training at this point.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Pirates, they like to bring those contortionists in to teach, basically how you should move your body when you're in your batting stance, because that's been so helpful over the years.
Right.
So, maybe getting some actually real instruction. Maybe this will help O'Neal Cruz. As O'Neal Cruz found a mentor on this Dominican team that can kind of teach him how to play baseball now at age 27. Maybe Vladdy, maybe somebody will take him under their wing. Tatis, someone who actually shows they understand the game and has showed it for quite some time now. Cruz came up right around the same time those guys did and still can't seem to figure it out. The big question now for the Pirates is, does Connor Griffin make this team out of camp? He's still there. That's, I guess, good news. But he's also hitting 196. So taking a look at the average that has dipped, especially lately, he has hit 3 home runs. I mean, there's been excitement that has gathered around, but the Pirates definitely have their excuse if they want to send him down, because all they have to do is say he's batting 196. Like, we can't put him on the regular season roster. So is this their easy out? Do they defy that and say, hey, we're going to put him out there anyways because he's the best shot we have to win games early on?
Put him out there because in April, when the weather's not great, you have to give people a reason to go when Skeens doesn't pitch. So if he's not in that lineup, what's your reason to go on a weeknight in April when it's 40 degrees?
Well, I have
and Skeens
visions
isn't
of watching
pitching?
Jared Triolo swinging that torpedo bat, probably missing everything he swings at.
Yeah,
trying to
nobody's
hit his
ever
home runs.
said this. Kids, let's go down to the ballpark to watch Jared Triolo. I mean, he's a
Gold
great
Glover
defensive player.
Jared Triolo.
Yeah, but you're going to go down to watch Griffin. When Skeens doesn't pitch, you need to sell someone.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, you're not going to sell. I think O'Hearn and Lau and Ozuna are going to be solid, but you're not going to sell them either. None of them
No.
are big names.
No.
You didn't get the big names. You tried, according to you. You just didn't get them. So
No, and
you
Brian
don't have-
Reynolds is old news. O'Neill's old news. You need somebody new and fresh.
And Reynolds has struggled as of late. Most of
Right.
those guys have struggled. The guys that were there have struggled as of late. The
Right.
averages have been dipping. I don't think Davis has a hit all spring. That should tell you all you need to know right there. So, I mean, is Endy going to be the catcher out of the gate? Probably should be. We'll see if he actually is. I mean, it's still a mess. Like, I think, and I told you this last week, they brought in 3 guys to replace 3 guys. They did not upgrade positions that everybody was complaining about last year. People complained about third base. People complained about center field. People complained about catcher. And those are being occupied by 3 guys who were there last year and were the reason you were complaining. So I don't think they did what they could have done or should have done. I think they just took older players that they didn't want to deal with anymore and said, hey, we'll get rid of McCutchen, we'll get rid of Pham, we'll get rid of Kiner Falefa, and we'll bring in Lau, O'Hearn, and Ozuna on the cheap and see if anybody notices.
Yeah, they did make some adjustments, some improvements, I guess, if that may be too strong a word, but they added a lot of home runs to that lineup. Will that correlate to this season? We don't know. But, new manager, Burnett's still there as an assistant in the offseason, spring training. So, yeah, I mean, they're trying. I think they're going to be better. They're going to maybe not get to 81 or 82 wins, but I think they'll do better than 71, which was last year's mark.
Well, they're on TV tonight, right? Or Major League Baseball. We don't get that.
Well, they're on the radio. We have them in about 10 minutes.
Oh, there you go. So
yeah.
Atlanta at Pittsburgh and
Right.
Bradenton tonight.
2 weeks to go.
6:05. Yep, almost there. We'll see what happens, see how much longer Griffin sticks, and whether he can make an impression here within the week, because that might be all the longer he's going to have at this point. We talked about some big-time free agent signings in the AFC when we were talking football. We're going to just switch over to the NFC real quick, make sure we didn't miss anything, tried to get through most of the AFC. Dallas, that's a team that we talk more about who they kept, Javonte Williams and George Pickens. And you wonder, given Pickens that franchise tag, I think that's actually a good move for them. I don't think I would trust him with a multi-year contract.
No.
I think let's see how year 2 goes with him, because that seemed to be a blow-up in Pittsburgh. Stick with that, see what happens. And how about the big tender they put on Brandon Aubrey, the kicker? That's crazy. A second-round tender. That's big money, $5.76 million for a kicker.
I mean, he's really, really good, but still kicker. Come on. He's awesome. Maybe the best ever.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
they
Tremaine
need points.
Edmonds in New York. The Giants are trying to act like they're serious.
I don't think
We'll
they
see
are.
whether or not they are. Tariq Woolen,
Yeah.
the corner from Seattle, signing with
Eagles.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia's kind of figured out their defense just wasn't going to cut it. They
No.
needed to do something there and trying to get better. I'll miss Caleb on Chason in New England. I thought he was the best chance they had to get anywhere near a quarterback. He signed a 1-year deal for $12 million. They got him last year with Washington. So I think a good move for Washington. They also signed Leo Chenal.
Yeah.
I thought Kansas City was going to wrap him up. He's a really good young linebacker. They paid him a good bit of money to go there, but Washington making some moves on defense, which I would think extremely necessary. Another team needing to make moves on defense, the Chicago Bears. How about Devin Bush? Who ever thought this was going to be a big-time free agent signing? 3 years, $30 million.
Former
That's how
Steeler.
in demand Devin Bush was.
That's right. Good
Another
for him.
guy that got a lot better when he left
when he
Pittsburgh.
left the Steelers. Yeah, McDuffie to the Rams. Big move in the NFC.
Yeah,
so
well, the Rams have been really, really busy with
this is
a
their
lot
window.
of what they're doing.
Stafford has 1, maybe 2 years left. Maybe.
Well, they have to. I mean, there's not much of a choice here. Like, if you're going to go with a lot of these older players, which is what they're doing, then you've got to win now. And Trent McDuffie, and they brought Jalen Watson in too.
Yeah.
Another big 3-year, $51 million. So corner was an issue for them. They've made sure that they improved there. And Cameron Curl brought back at safety. So secondary seemed to be the major issue for the Rams that they addressed. Of course, Mike Evans, we talked about going to San Francisco, trying to resurrect his career. If anybody can do it, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan. So we'll see exactly what happens there. And I don't know. I'm sure I probably missed some other big ones that have happened around. How about Arizona go with Gardner Minshew?
Yeah.
Is he going to start? Are they going to try to find a quarterback somewhere?
Kyler's gone.
Is it going to
guess.
be Jacoby Brissett? Because they've talked a lot about him as a starting quarterback next year.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Kenneth Gainwell,
Yeah.
of course, signing in
Arizona, right?
No, Tampa.
Oh, that's right.
And we were trying to figure out who the Saints sign as their running back. That's Travis Etienne,
Yeah.
formerly of Jacksonville, which I think is going to be a big drop-off for them.
Right.
But, of course, the biggest in the NFC is Kenny Pickett. 1 year, $4 million with Carolina.
That's Super Bowl and ACC
Hey,
champion
Canales
Kenny
doesn't care how
Pickett.
big his hands are. that is their guy.
Well, Kenny Pickett has small hands, and Bryce Young has a small body in general. So, but they're good. I think they win that division next year. They almost beat the Rams in that playoff game. So
That is true.
laugh at them all you want. I think they're good.
A big upset today in college basketball in the MAC quarterfinals. Miami of Ohio, who was 31-0, losing 87-83 to 16-15, now 17-15 UMass. I don't know, Nick. Does that end their chances of the NCAA tournament?
The upsets have already started. No, they'll get in. I mean, what a great season. The Red Hawks, Big Ben's alma mater.
Yeah.
So good for them. What a season. I had no idea they were a basketball power, a power at anything. So they'll get in the tournament. God, they should.
Second round of the SEC, Tennessee gets a win over Auburn. Arizona, the number 2 team in the country, in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament. They're victorious over UCF. St. John's, another win. St. John's is really good.
Tino, yeah.
Rick Pitino, no matter where he goes, really
Ageless.
good. They get an 85-72 win over Providence in the Big East quarterfinal. People were worried. They thought Providence might have St. John's number, but they ended up beating them. Virginia over NC State. Nothing major. The biggest one, probably Iowa State over Texas Tech. That's another set quarterfinal in the Big 12. They win by 22, really?
Wow, really?
Iowa State won by 22.
Jeez.
Miami upsets Louisville,
Ooh.
78-73. Wisconsin
Canes.
over Washington. And then a bunch of games still to come later tonight. But the big ones come this weekend.
Right.
And then, depending on who wins these tournaments, we start to seeding for March Madness. And next week, Nick, it'll be a lot of basketball getting talked about.
Well, this time next week, our brackets will already be busted about 6 hours into the first round. So it's still the first round Thursday and Friday. Tuesday, Wednesday, the first 4. That's the appetizer, but next Thursday through Sunday are great days.
Agreed. So let's get to this NBA roundup. We know
Ooh.
Wilt Chamberlain. We know Kobe Bryant. Do we know Bam?
Oh, Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points, second most ever. He passed our great friend, the dear Kobe. But yeah, what a game. And yes, he's playing Washington, a team that's actively tanking. And the Michigan Wolverines, someone pointed out, have an older average roster age than the Washington Wizards. So the Wizards are in full tank mode. But still, Bam has been, you know, maybe an overlooked superstar, but a very good player. Scores 83 points. A lot of it was foul shots. He had 61 or 2 after 3. So they really tried hard in that fourth quarter to get him that record. And, you know, a lot of people are upset about this. Kobe would not have an issue with it, I'm sure. Records are made to be broken. Good for Bam. And you mentioned off the air, would they want this to be Luka or Wemby or Tatum? Probably. Bam is a star, but not an upper echelon star, but still an amazing night. Good for him, and he'll remember that forever.
And you're not really hearing much about it. I think that's the part. Like when you talk about Wilt Chamberlain, I mean, that was just huge. Then when Kobe did it, I mean, this was news for months.
Yeah, it was.
And this guy does it, and they've already stopped talking
It's
about
already
it.
dying a little. It's weird.
And I told you, he was always an accessory. Tyler Herro was looked at as the best guy on Miami.
Wow, look
it
at
just,
you.
He wasn't even thought of as the best player on his team. And I'm sure the NBA is really struggling because they do market players quite a bit.
They're great
How
at
do
it.
you market this guy? But like you said, what if Wemby would have done it?
Oh, my God.
Oh, we'd hear about it
They'd
for
be
decades
wetting
to come.
themselves. Yeah. Yeah, that happens, and it's hard to market guys. I mean, Jack Hughes scoring the gold medal goal, and people are already kind of moving on from that.
Because the team's bad.
It's a fast-paced
He
world.
he goes back to the NHL. He plays for the Devils. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Right.
So you start to just lose interest because it's in the past.
Yeah.
It's the rearview mirror right now. And in the present, there's not a whole lot happening.
And Bam with Miami. Miami's a good market, great fun city, but it's not New York or LA or Chicago. So that matters, even in this day and age where everything's accessible to everyone. But 83 points, I don't care how he did it, how bad the team he was playing is, it's still amazing.
How long until somebody scores 100?
Oh, we'll get there. With the three-point line, we'll get there.
Do we move the three-point line in at some point just to increase point scoring? I mean, that's all they care about is how many points they
Right.
score. They don't even call fouls or traveling or anything like that in the regular season anymore. It's all about how many points you can score.
Right. Well, there's a lot of rumors that, you know, they're going to raise the hoop or they're going to have dunks be worth 3. Basketball is going through a weird period now, kind of like hockey when they wanted to make the nets bigger or lessen the goalie equipment to increase scoring. But it's almost too easy to score now in basketball, so I don't know what they're going to do.
It's not that hard to score in hockey either. I mean, there's
Well-
the goals I think have gone up. Maybe they haven't. If I look at numbers, they haven't. But it seems like outside of the Gretzky era, and that was only on the West Coast, where a ton of goals were being scored. It seems like there's quite a few that have been scored.
Right.
All right, last big question. Did anyone score 80-plus points this week in the WNBA?
Caitlin Clark's working on it, but no, season has not started yet. We'll
Still
get there.
hasn't started.
I don't know what, I don't know. They're still
It's almost St.
negotiating.
Patrick's Day.
That's right. Top of the morning to you. They're still negotiating. They're working out the kinks, so we'll get there
I mean,
eventually.
basketball is a winter sport, correct? Well, except
In
for the
theory.
Olympics, it's a summer sport.
That's right.
Maybe they're going to play in the summer.
They might. Maybe outside. That'd be nice.
Will they play in the Olympics?
The women?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Equal opportunity.
Why-
Title IX.
Have they played in the?
Oh, yes. There's women's basketball.
But do the WNBA stars?
Oh, absolutely.
Will Caitlin
Yeah.
Clark play in the
Cheryl
Olympics?
Miller was in there back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wait and see.
Her
Maybe
brother was
that'll-
really good.
What'll come next, the Olympics or the WNBA start of the season?
That's a great question.
Hey, next week, everybody, a lot of basketball. We've got March Madness. We'll be covering it live here on the Sports Voice. Of course, anything else the Steelers do, we'll see where the Penguins are. We'll see if Connor Griffin's still a Pirate. Thank you for listening this week. Tune in next Thursday, 4:15 to 6.
Thank you, Dave. You're a TV star, buddy. Congratulations. Dave Dunaway in the Sports Voice back next Thursday, 4:15 to 6, like he mentioned. Right now, outside of our Davis and Davis studios on this Thursday evening, 41 degrees. I'm guessing it's a bit warmer down in Bradenton. We take you there live for Bucko Baseball. It's spring action. Braves taking on your Pirates on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. It's time now for Pittsburgh Pirates baseball on your local station, 590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS. Being brought to you today by Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, Kelly Clark, Autoland Hyundai in Uniontown, Armstrong, the fastest, most reliable internet, Henry and Stewart Audiology, Thurby's Riverside Ford, Ogden Directories. Get your easy-to-use big book today. Laurel Ridge Eye Care and Dr. Aaron Sobel, the Quattrini Law Offices, and